Tennessee Titans fans, it is that time of the week where we hop on Reddit and see what fans are saying about the state of the organization. And as always, we're going to start on the Two Tone Talk Reddit page that you have to go join. There's a link to it in the video description below. You go over there, you join that community, and any questions, comments, memes, whatever that are shared there will get featured on this Reddit segment every single week. But we're also going to check out some posts from the Tennessee Titans Reddit page as well, just seeing what fans are saying here in the middle of the summertime, the kind of a dead time of year. Let's see what we have on tap, starting on the Two Tone Talk page. Amy Adams Strunk is the topic of discussion here. This person said, this post is related to the sell of the Lakers this week. I am a big Lakers fan, if you didn't know that. So if Amy Adams Strunk sold the Titans, do you think the Titans would be worth more than $10 billion? That is how much the Lakers are now worth for the ones who did not see the news. So there is absolutely no way the Titans would be worth. You have to compare. We're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, probably the most profitable, the most well-known organization in basketball, and one of the most well-known organizations in sports as a whole. I mean, the Lakers, it's like it's the Cowboys of the NBA. And so, no, I do not think the Titans, I do not think the Tennessee Titans would sell for anywhere close to $10 billion. I think that would be absurd. So, no, I do not imagine that would be the case. This person said, curiosity. I've been rewatching Titans games on NFL.com. You can only go back to the 2009 season, though, and I was wondering a couple of things. First, what is the best game to rewatch from that time frame? So let's just zero in on that. 2009. So that's a tough question, because you are entering into an era of Titans football that is horrible. You are really starting to get into the Jake Locker, Zach Mettenberger years, where there weren't a whole lot of good games to go back and watch, because it's eerily similar to the Titans that we've seen for the last couple of years in present day life. But I will say 2009, wasn't that the season where Vince Young led the 99-yard drive against Arizona at home on the last drive, threw the game winner to Kenny Britt on the last play of the game? I think that game was in the 2009 season, so that's obviously a classic. There was that one game against Detroit where it was crazy, and there was like special teams touchdowns, and then that wasn't 2009, but that was a couple of years later. Maybe the next season, that would be one. But there just weren't a whole lot of Titans games from 2009 to 2015. There weren't a whole lot of memorable things going on with the Tennessee Titans in those years. It was just really not a good time. But the second part of this person's question, as a follow-up, what is the best Chiefs-Titans game? I have a Chiefs fan as a friend, and yes, he gets insufferable. To be fair, if I were a fan of the Chiefs, I would be insufferable too. It depends. If you are a Titans fan like me, the best Chiefs-Titans game was 2019 when Tannehill had just taken over and the Titans came back to beat them at the end of that game. They blocked the field goal with Kalu, and Tannehill officially solidified that he was the starter. That would be the first one that comes to mind. I don't think a Chiefs fan would enjoy that game very much because the Chiefs lost. But yeah, that honestly, if you are an unbiased person who's not a fan of either team, I would still say that game's probably the best Chiefs-Titans game ever, because it came down to the wire. It was crazy at the end. So yeah, that's probably the best Chiefs-Titans game, but I don't know if a Chiefs fan would agree. To the Tennessee Titans page, where Chad Ochocinco was responding to a top 10 wide receivers of the 2000s list, and he said, take me off and put Derrick Mason, because people must have forgot. So Chad Ochocinco, not normally one to take a back seat or take attention off of himself and give it to somebody else here. But Chad Ochocinco says that he should be taken off of the top 10 wide receivers of the 2000s list and should be replaced by Derrick Mason. Derrick Mason probably still to this day, I would say, is the second best wide receiver in franchise history behind A.J. Brown. And I know A.J. Brown was only here for 3 years, but I'd still say A.J. Should have been the top wide receiver in franchise history. Derrick Mason, though, I mean, huge impact, really a player that was ahead of his time. I think that he was a player probably a little undersized, especially when you compare to today's NFL, but man, he was fast, he was quick, he was agile, he was exciting to watch. Made big plays as a punt returner as well. I don't know if you knew this. He was supposed to be the guy on the Music City Miracle, but he had gotten hurt, I believe, and Kevin Dyson took his place, and the rest is history. But Derrick Mason, I mean, yeah, what a great player for the Titans, and yeah, an underrated player. Like Ocho Cinco said, people have forgotten. You don't hear a lot of people talk about Derrick Mason these days. You don't hear people talking about, his impact on the Titans and what an exciting player he was, but he's a player that deserves his flowers. And then he went to Baltimore, and he did some great stuff with Baltimore. I don't like this trend of great Titans players going and becoming Ravens. I don't like that, but Derrick Mason was a very exciting player, and I appreciate Ocho Cinco giving him his flowers. This person said, other than the Titans, is there a team you're higher on for this year? It's the offseason. Who cares? Is there a particular team that you feel will do better than most or should be reckoned with? To me, the Raiders have an incredibly underrated offseason. Curious about the pulse of this fan base on teams other than ours that you're higher on or teams that should be worried about. The Raiders are an interesting choice. I mean, Geno Smith coming in. Obviously, I loved their first-round selection. If I had to pick a different team than them, team that I think is being slept on, you may disagree. I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks. I think that Sam Darnold, I don't think he's going to win them a Super Bowl or anything. I don't think he's going to get them a deep playoff run, but I think if Sam Darnold comes in and is able to play like he did in Minnesota last year, they brought in Cooper Kupp as a good weapon, and Mike McDonald there with that defense, it kind of reminds me of the Mike Vrabel Titans. Tough, old school, probably going to win some. I could see them winning some games that people don't think they should win. I could see them hanging in there with teams that people don't think they should hang in there with. I could see them sneaking in as a wild card team and maybe even winning a wild card game. Again, I don't see them making a Super Bowl run or too deep of a playoff push, but I could see Seattle being very sneaky. And lest we forget, the Titans do have to play them this year. This person said, what is this guy doing here? It is someone on the floor after the Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship. Congratulations to them. This dude is in a Vince Young Tennessee Titans jersey on the floor. And is that Vince right there? Kind of has the facial structure of Vince. I had that same Vince Young jersey. I had that exact same Vince Young jersey, the white Vince Young jersey with the light blue shoulder pads. I still think Vince Young should have been something. I still think Vince Young could have been a stud if he had gone to a team that actually wanted him and that could do something for him. But the Titans just weren't doing it at that time, and so it kind of ruined Vince. Was CJ2K in his prime better than all active running backs? You might disagree, but the answer to that question, in my opinion, is no. He was not better than all of them. Most, yes, but Saquon, I still think Saquon's just a different breed. Derrick, I would take Derrick. Maybe just those two, though. I mean, I think CJ2K was a player that would be in top 5 running backs in the league any era you put him in, but I still would take Saquon and Derrick ahead of them just because of their physicality, their size. And last but not least, this person said, thank you, Steve. This is a graphic of the last time with an all-pro quarterback for every team. And as you can see, the Tennessee Titans right here, their last time was 2003, and that was the great Steve McNair 22 years ago. And on one hand, that is sad to see that it has been that long since the Titans had an all-pro quarterback. But look, the Raiders, the Rams, the Vikings, the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Commanders, the Bengals, the Chargers, the Browns, the Steelers, the Jets, the Giants, the Lions, the Bears, and then, of course, two teams who have never had all-pro quarterbacks, the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So while it is a little discouraging to see the Titans haven't had an all-pro quarterback in 22 years, there's a lot of teams, and namely two in our own division, who have never had one, and some, like the Bears, haven't had one since the 50s. There was another team there that hadn't had one since the 1950s. So, it could be worse. But yes, thank you, Steve. Very, very much. That's it for this week. Don't forget the Two Tone Talk Reddit page. Go over there. Leave some comments, questions, memes, concerns, whatever. They will get featured on this segment next week. Tighten up, everybody. Bye.